Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles Sabans, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today I'm going to go off in this show. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. My handle is CTABANZ. So let's get into today's show. Okay. So, where do I even start with this guy? We did a show earlier today, and obviously it depends on the order in which you're watching these episodes. But we did a show earlier today where we were reacting to some comments that Keith Olbermann had to make about Stephen A. Smith. And essentially what Olbermann said was on Twitter. He said, just adding to what has been true for years, as Stephen A. Smith is an effing idiot. And now he smells money prostituting himself too and collaborating with the right wing, right? So that's what Olbermann had to say. So I went through, kind of did my due diligence, researched what was being talked about. It took me 30 minutes to kind of figure out what this entire issue was about. So Olbermann originally posted these comments on Twitter, right? So sometimes what I like to do is whenever I see these posts on Twitter, I usually scroll down to see what people are saying about it and to kind of hear what people are saying about a given issue. So as I was scrolling through Twitter, I came across a clip that somebody posted of none other than Stephen A. Smith himself. And this person that posted this post has the name Vince Wilson. And he wrote, compare his stance now to a rant he made back in late December last year. No principles at all. So I clicked on the video to hear what exactly was being said in this video. And would you know that, of course, it was Stephen A. Smith talking out of both sides of his mouth about this very issue. What we want to do is want to play what Stephen A. Smith had to say just this last December about free speech and all of that and about the Democrats and blah, 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 blah. And then want to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to Stephen A. Smith here.
At least in the Trump administration, there appears to be a debate allowed. What has ailed the Democrats? It's not an ideology alone. It's not their feelings alone. It's the fact that if you refuted what they said, if you are part of their party, cancel culture kicked in. If you were not a part of their party, it was ostracism, and it was ultimately hate mongering and fear mongering that was thrown into the equation. There was no room for a debate. And enough voices weren't being heard. Diversity amongst those voices not being heard. You're black, you're white, you're gay, you're lesbian, you're heterosexual, you're transgender. It don't matter. You still had to have one form of thinking if you fell under their umbrella. Otherwise, you were pushed out. If Trump is saying there needs to be a healthy debate about America first, meaning the country, or America first, meaning people born in this country, and sacrificing the best that may exist out there across the globe, and that's a discussion that's worth having, all of a sudden that opens the floodgates for an abundance of other things that we can discuss. But most importantly, I agree with the idea of there being an open, robust debate about it, because it is not something that the Democrats allow. The Democrats stopped letting people decide. One could easily argue. Their mentality seemed to be you must obey the party line or you're out in your ass. That seemed to be what they were saying. Censorship, cancel culture. There was no debate. That's why they're home. And Donald Trump is on his way back to the White House.
Excellent. No. It's the real person. That was Stephen A. Smith in late December, less than a year ago. Now, I want you guys to listen to him now reacting to Kimmel and how he's saying, where's the joke and all of that and da-da-da-da-da-da. Take a listen to Stephen A. Smith just this week talking about Jimmy Kimmel being taken off the air. Take a listen to Stephen A. Smith.
I filled in for him and hosted the Jimmy Kimmel Live show in August of 2021, one of my proudest moments. I did an 18-minute monologue, a comedic monologue, opening monologue. I'm still proud of that to this very day. I love him as a person. I love him, his talent, the whole bit. That does not make what he said right. And in the times that we're living in, you have to be very, very careful about what you say when you open your mouth. And you can't associate a political group of people with a murderer. You can't do that. But that goes for both sides. President Trump shouldn't be coming out of his mouth talking about how, you know what, this was instigated and stirred on by the left. I love my man, Sean Hannity. I love a lot of people in our business and our industry on both sides of the aisle. None of them should be doing that. Nobody should be doing that. That's how I feel about it. And, that individual, that was him. And it was a sick individual that murdered Charlie Kirk. And we should be focused on the fact that we don't need to be seeing anything like that in the streets of America, no matter where you are. We are a civilized society, okay? We're not supposed to conduct ourselves that way, and we're not supposed to be condoning any such thing. And the only thing that I would say as it pertains to Jimmy Kimmel was, where was the joke? Because you're a late night host. And obviously that has a comedic attachment to it. Where was the joke? Obviously, it wasn't anything funny about that. And so we have to take that into consideration and make sure that we play our positions and understand what we can and cannot say. Because we have a responsibility when we have a camera and a microphone in front of us to articulate ourselves in an appropriate fashion. We can be dogged, we can be opinionated, we can provide perspectives, we could do a lot of things, but we could also be responsible while doing so. And that's the deal. So that's how I feel about it overall. And that's that. But I wish him nothing but the best because he's an incredible talent and an incredible teammate on ABC, and I'm always wishing him well.
So you heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say. This is the reason why I take absolutely nothing that comes out of Stephen A. Smith's mouth about politics seriously. Stephen A. Smith is a loud grifter. And he is doing this for money and status, period. And maybe out of narcissism just to hear his own voice. And just get off to the fact that people are talking about him and are hearing him talk. Those are the major reasons. And if anybody out there that thinks that Stephen A. Smith is sincere, you are a bloody idiot. You are a bloody idiot and you deserve to be deceived. You deserve it because you're an idiot and idiots deserve to be deceived. Period. Point blank. You're an idiot. There's no other way to slice it, folks. If you believe that this guy's views are sincere about the things that he talks about, you're an idiot or you are very naive. Very naive. That is just the pure fact about it. We just played 2 sets of audio where this guy is literally conflicting. He's fighting with himself. On the one hand, he's talking about, oh, you need to be careful and, this and it's a different time and I don't see the joke about it. And you're trying to associate this party with this and basically supporting the decision of the government because that's basically what happened. The government put pressure on Disney caved in, and boom, you got the decision that you got, right? They didn't even do it on, I can understand if Disney made the decision on principle. They didn't even do it on principle. They did it because of money, right? I can at least say, okay, they believe this because it affects their core value. It got nothing to do with core values or nothing. It has everything to do with the fact that they wanted more money, period, end of story, right? Which is maybe that's why Stephen A. Smith works there. But anyway, they did that. Stephen A. Smith is here defending the decision, basically. But then 6 months prior, or 8-9 months prior, whatever it is, you find him here, man, those guys are just cancel culture. Cancel culture. These guys are trying to silence people. They don't want people to have a voice. And this is the reason why you lost. And blah, 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 blah. You would think it's 2 different people, right? It's the same person. It makes perfect sense that Stephen A. Smith wants to get into politics because he's going to deceive a lot of fools out there. If you believe what this guy says about, you are a fool, an intellectual midget, literally, Because if you can't read through the line, even looking at his face, you believe that this guy is serious. He's not serious. Even when it came to the Epstein situation, this was the same guy. Man, I got better things to worry about than Epstein files. I got better things. And people don't even know there's an Epstein file. You don't even know if it exists. Meanwhile, Pam Bondi and them had already said it did. Then he had to walk those comment back. He's just going with the flow. Did the wind blow this way? Up, let me turn my sail and flow over there. Up, the wind blew back that way. Up, let me flow. And you guys are so gullible that you actually believe that if there's a political shift in the United States and the landscape shifts, you really believe that he's still going to stay on with these views? You're lost. You're lost in the sauce. I just played sound of this guy switching his views in less than 1 year. The very thing he was flogging and giving a public lashing to the Democrats for cancel culture, the left or whatever, is the same thing he's applauding now, or at the very least, making concessions for. Where do your principles lie, Stephen A. Smith? They lie in the dollar bill, because I wake up every morning and all I think about is money and how much money I'm going to make for my... But bro, we already know this already. We already know. Can you imagine that being your motivation every single morning is how much money I can make from... But like, what a vacuous life. That's the only thing that matters. No principles, no nothing. And the irony in all of this, the more money a lot of these guys make, the less courage they develop. The more money they make, the less courage they have. Because you know why? They're afraid of losing all that money they got and all the money they could get. Forever a slave to money. Forever a slave to money. What do you stand for? Nothing. What do you stand for? Nothing. I stand for money, which means you stand for nothing, because money can be used for good or evil. So you stand for nothing. And I'm just calling it out because I think this guy's a grifter. I think he's a grifter. And I marvel at people that sit down and listen to this guy talk about political issues and really sit back. I'm like, wow, you got it on, you hit it on the nail, Stephen A. Smith. You really got it there. You really got it there. You really got it there. They really believe this guy. You guys are something else. You sincerely believe him. It is unreal. Unreal. The thing that he was criticizing is a thing now he's saying, everybody needs to just be quiet. Everybody needs to be quiet. We got the other sound. We played it in the other video, in the Olbermann video. Everybody needs to be quiet right now because it's not safe out there. So you need to just adjust and keep your mouth closed. Why didn't you say that when the Democrats were in power? Why didn't you say that the right, y'all need to just keep quiet and just roll with the flow? You know why? Because he understood that the shift was taking place. So he hitched his wagon to the Republican Party. And he's riding the waves. And some Republicans are stupid enough to let this guy hop on their wagon, believing he's sincere. He's a sheep in wolf's clothing. You think he's a sheep, you got a wolf on your cart. You better throw his ass off at the next stop. Because what's going to happen is the minute you bust a tire, he going to jump off and hop on the next wagon going in a different direction. And that's what you're seeing. I don't care, Stephen A. It's a fact. Bro, ain't nobody making this up. We playing your own clips, bro. We playing your own sound. We're literally playing. You're fighting with yourself. You're fighting with yourself. Literally. It's him fighting with himself. And he'll get pissed off there. Wow, you're coming at me. You got 40 million, you're making 40 million a year. You let that, all that money should let these opinions bounce right off you. Don't matter, baby. These are just opinions. It just opinions. You want to run for president, people gonna have a lot of things to say. What you gonna be doing? Every night in the Oval Office, you gonna crack open your computer and start responding to what people said about you every single day. That's what this what you gonna be doing? It's just an opinion. I don't matter. I don't matter. But this dude is a grifter, and a lot of these guys out here are grifting. A lot of them, because they know people are gullible. People are gullible. People are so desperate to hear people that agree with them that they will follow anybody. If a spider came into your room and started whispering things about that you believe, you followed us, you probably start worshiping the spider. God sent this spider from heaven to come and speak to me. The blessed spider, the holy spider. This is what we will do. This is what we'll do. Listen to this guy. It's all for money. It's all for the dollar bill, y'all. And ain't nothing wrong with making money. But when you sell your soul and your ass for money, bro, you can make as much money as you want, but you will never have peace. You can make as much money as you want. You will never have peace. And you will spend the rest of your life fighting with people. You can have all the money in the world and you'll be fighting with people every day, everywhere you go. Fighting with everybody because there's some things that are more valuable than money, like integrity, character, virtue, values, truth. Those things carry more. Respect, self-respect is more valuable than money. It's more valuable than money. It is. And who disagrees, that's your bloody business. These are my thoughts. I hope he sees it. If you don't see it, whatever. This is what I think. This is exactly what I think. You fools are falling for a grifter. Y'all are falling for a grifter. Next thing he going to be selling y'all is seals that make pancakes at IHOP. And y'all going to go up, man, Stephen A. Smith said they make the best pancakes in town. And y'all going to go in there and gobble it up.